Hello, my name is Harry Park. I am a youth cultural tour guide from the Youth Cultural Cooperation. Today, I would like to introduce you the Sodaemun Prison History Hall. The Sodaemun prison was originally built under the Japanese administration to hold captives of independence movement activists. In here, we can see the pain and sacrifices of Korean freedom fighters. In the past, many activists were imprisoned here. Now the Sodaemun prison is a place to educate the public importance of Korea's independence and the sacrifices of those who fought to achieve it. The Sodaemun prison was built in 1908, which was 2 years before the Daehan Empire got colonized by Japan. The Daehan Empire is an era before the Japanese occupation, and in 1945, Korea gained its independence. The early 1900s was the time when powerful countries tried to enlarge their power and colonize many other weak countries. The situation of the Daehan Empire and Japan was similar. Japan attempted many times to colonize the Daehan Empire and eventually colonizes it in 1910. You may think, how could a prison be built under the Japanese control even before the Daehan Empire was colonized? That was because earlier in 1907, a convention was concluded which was about giving judicial power and consignment of prison affairs to Japan. Since then, Japan could build a prison to imprison freedom fighters and patriots who fought for their independence of their own country. The history of Sodaemun prison started from then. It was used as a place to imprison and torture independence movement activists. It was popular with its evil reputation. Sodaemun prison's location was decided to be in a place that was easy to handle and control the prisoners, and because it is surrounded by mountains. The prison buildings were expanded several times as independence movement activists increased. It was originally about 1,600 square meters and expanded to 51,200 square meters, which is about 300 times bigger. The building complexes that remains nowadays are just a little amount of the original prison. Even after the independence, the prison was used for keeping democratic protesters until 1987 and was transformed into today's Sodaemun Prison History Hall in 1998. Then let me show you several places in the Sodaemun prison. First, before we enter, let's take a look at the gate. Doesn't it look very old? Actually, it is the original gate since the Japanese occupation period. Can you see a tower up there? The tower has an octagonal shape and was used to keep their eyes on the prisoners. The first building is the exhibition hall. This building was the administration and security office. It has the prison history room, 3 national resistance rooms, investigation room, and interrogation rooms. The basement, which has the investigation and interrogation rooms, was where physical examinations and cruel torture occurred. Then we can see the central prison building. The central prison is connected with 3 prison buildings. It is in a panopticon structure, allowing guards to oversee all of the buildings with ease. There is also an exhibition dedicated to the daily life in prison. The prison cells have some kind of sticks attached to the walls of it. How are these used for? These were used for alerting emergency situations to the guards. The prisoners would press the button inside and the stake would pop out of the wall. Also, the square-shaped hole was for supervising. The people inside couldn't really see the people outside very well, but the people outside could see the people inside. In the prison cells, 30 to 40 people or often 50 people were in prison together. There were barely places to lie down and sleep at night. In the summers, diseases could spread quickly. Next is the labor building. In the labor building, prisoners labored by producing bricks, clothes, and supplies for the Japanese military. The prisoners had to labor for approximately 14 hours a day. Of course, they did not get paid for it. The food they were provided were too little compared to the amount of labor they've done. The bricks that were produced here can be found at places in the Sodemon prison. The buildings itself are built with those. This is the lepers building. This was a place for isolating the inmates with leprosy. Leprosy is also known as Hansen's disease, and it is a long-term infection that causes severe disfiguring, skin sores, and nerve damage in the arms, legs, and skin areas around the body. Unlike the prison cells, this building has a heating system. Next, this is the execution building. In here, many patriots were executed. It was used for carrying out the death sentences. Outside, there is an exit that seems to be a long way out. It is the corpse removal exit. It is a door used to take the corpse out to the mass grave after execution. When Korea gained its independence, Japan had to move out of here, and because they were guilty of what they've done through the past years here, they tried to cover up the evidences and their crucial behavior. This door is one of them, too. The Japanese covered this door and made it so that nobody would know. However, the tunnel and the door were restored, and the tunnel is not completely restored yet, and it is originally led to a place nearby the prison, and the Japanese made this secret passageway to let no one to know what they were doing. The Sodemon prison is where we can see the past sacrifices and the pain of the ones who worked to gain independence of Korea. Because of all the independence movement activists, patriots, and freedom fighters, today's Korea could exist. Now the Sodemon prison is not a terrifying place, but somewhere that people can see and realize the hurtful past of Korea. To prevent the same hurtful past from happening again, I believe that people should learn about it first. This is all for the Sodemon prison tour. I hope you have learned a lot from this video and enjoyed it. Thank you.